Alright, guys. So, this is the Tri-Alliance Clash, and I'm back with another video for you guys. We're almost at 500 subscribers, so please subscribe, and let's keep on going. So, for this, at the very beginning, this is the end of the battle, actually, and I did run out of energy, which really sucked, but for this, guys, when you start, you're going to be at the very bottom of that mini-map. You guys can see the closest to the actual coordinates is where you'll spawn. There's 3 different buildings you can take right off the bat. And what you're going to want to do is, I sent mine 3 different ways and tried to take 3 different buildings and then move, because you get 3 marches, so I tried to move them each time. Now, this was super hard to keep track of when they were done with their battles, but you can check on your march status, and it will tell you if they're waiting battle or not. You can see here, I have some awaiting battles and stuff, so you can check that. I have these 2 Legion commanders here, guys, and those 2 are R3s. Now, you have to be an R3 to get the Legion commander. That gives you more energy in the battle. So you guys are going to want to maybe move an R4 or R5 that are like your whale players into the R3 and just derank them for a little bit so that they can get more energy during the battle. Now, you can only have 2, but this will allow them to push further in the battle and claim more buildings for your alliance, and it'll help you guys out a lot. So I don't actually know if the energy capacity increases. It stops at 300,000 for a regular player, so that's already pretty good. I didn't run out of energy actually until like the very end, and I kind of did notice that during some battles that it seemed like my energy was at like 10,000, and then all of a sudden it was drained down to like nothing. So I don't know if during the battles, like fighting stronger players or something, it drains the energy. I didn't understand that, but this was my first time, so I just wanted to let you guys know though, when you're starting, you kind of want to move all 3 marchers in one building and move them as a group. This will allow you to move them more frequently, with more fluidity. Not just sitting in an old building. I had a kind of a rough start. Now, you do have a certain amount of time at the very beginning where the enemies can't come in and attack you. So it's fine. Like, it does help that they're not able to attack you because you can just take over your whole area. So the strategy is to take your whole area, and you guys can see these transfer hubs. Now, you guys are going to want to defend these transfer hubs with your life. We did not, and it definitely cost us. I did push into the enemy territory by taking some of their transfer hubs, and it did work out, but eventually I was losing my marches, and you can see here I'm on my 3rd march here, and yeah, he's about to die. So that kind of sucked, but I did move with my alliance. So what you guys are going to want to do is keep those transfer hubs or transfer pads. Keep those, because if you guys can go and maintain those and then go and take the enemies, now they can no longer fly across that ravine to attack you, which will give you a huge advantage. As you guys can see here, we're struggling just to defend our 2 transfer hubs here at the top. And it definitely cost us the whole battle here because Red decided to actually, they were in 3rd for a majority of the battle, and what they did is they saw that we were close to them. So they figured if they attacked us with orange, that they could actually overpower more of our area, thus granting them 2nd place. And that did actually happen. We lost by 10,000 points, which really sucked because that's like, we had like 13,000 a minute for a long time for our alliance. So it's just something to note, is to seriously just defend your transfer hubs. If you guys can maintain holding just your area and not letting it fall at all, you guys will maintain an average score, and you can easily be 2nd and then be able to have a certain amount of players. I would probably only do, maybe send out a group with like all 3 of their marches, maybe your strongest guys or maybe a couple mediums, to try to go and take the first players' spaces, their bases, so that you guys will eventually become first by knocking them down and then eventually getting the win. But that strategy only works if you're able to maintain your own area. If you're able to maintain your own area the entire time, you guys should stay in 2nd place and at least get better rewards than I did. It was a really strange battle, guys, and The main things of note are that you cannot increase your actual squad's deployment capacity, so you can't use that buff or use the pet ability of that new SSR pet that increases squad's deployment capacity. But you can use all other attack pet abilities in this, the moose, the bear, and I think it's the rhino. So you can use those three, and then you can use all your other buffs, increase squad's lethality, defense, all those different ones. And those two debuffs, you can also use those to gain the upper hand and get yourself so you have more power in your 3 marches. Now, each march only has a set amount of troops of 300,000. Now you get 100,000 of infantry, archers, cavalry. You cannot switch this. You cannot have 200,000 infantry, which does kind of suck, but you can't change that, and it's just part of this new game mode. So as you guys can see here, you guys battle in a different type of way, and you guys don't have to heal troops or lose troops, but you do kind of have to heal your different marches. Now, reviving costs energy, and once you guys defeat all the players in a certain building or transit hub, then you will have the ability to conscript soldiers, and you can buy back your lost troops. So if you have 300,000 and it gets cut down to 200,000, it will cost a certain amount of energy to revive the 100,000 that are dead. But then at least you're not sent back to the starting point, and you can just move that army to wherever you want, and thus making yourself kind of stronger, faster, better. So that's why you guys need to move some of your big whale players into that R3 position so they gain energy back faster, and they're able to move around more freely, because it does cost energy just to move one space. Now, I think the more spaces you move, the more it costs. So this is kind of a tricky thing. I think from spawn up to the point where my Amadeus is here is, I think it was 12,000 was the most I've seen to move spaces. Now, I wasn't moving into the enemy territory from spawn, so I don't know how much that would cost, like over here to this transit hub, but yeah, guys. So defend your own borders, maintain your transfer hubs, and take their transfer hubs, because once you take their transfer hubs, they cannot fly across the ravine. Now, we messed up and we couldn't actually take the middle. We were late because of, obviously, we lost our transfer hubs now. So the enemy kind of predicted this and attacked our certain transfer hubs that were weak and vulnerable. And once they're engaged in battle like that, you cannot actually move to that and then move to the middle. You have to defeat the enemies that are within your building. So they sent a couple large players over to block it up. So a lot of my medium players tried to go and take this, which actually blocked me and a lot of our stronger players from being able to attack these stronger players and move on, because each battle has a select amount of time that it must go through. So even if they're a small guy, it takes a certain amount of time for even a big guy to defeat them. So that's just something to note, guys, that if you're a super small player, you are helpful, but if you're trying to defeat a really strong player, you're not going to do too much damage, and it's just going to cause a lag in the time it takes for your team to actually take that building and move on to taking the next. So you guys are going to want your smaller players to maintain your base and your area, and then send your large players, your whale players, across the ravine to the middle to take the different buildings. That's all I really have for strategy, guys, but a couple things to note are that in the top, you guys can see the sword. That's how many kills I have at the moment. And then the tombstone is my deaths. And I don't remember what the little sword is to the right there. The third sword. I don't remember what that one does. I don't know if that's how many times I've healed or something. But yeah, sorry, guys, for forgetting what that was for. But yeah, so you guys can click on that, and then you guys can see your guys' actual score, like your different score rankings in the alliance. And even though we placed third, guys, we actually did get a good amount of rewards, so don't feel bad if you guys place third. It's obviously going to be your first time when you guys get to this, so don't feel bad if you guys place third. But Red did pull off that sneaky move where they took our transfer hubs here at the end and ended up going from third to second. So you guys could try to do that as well right at the end to try to knock second into third place if you guys are in third. And that might work out for you if to push the advantage and, you know, knock them down there. So as you guys can see, we lost by 10,000 to Evil, and then Checkmate obviously whooped both of us completely. So just something to note, guys, that's a little cheeky, little sneaky ending. So if you guys want to try that, that'd be great if you guys could let me know how it works out, because we tried hard, but we weren't able to overcome them. So guys, seriously, we're almost at 500 subscribers. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. So peace.